Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 8 game in my Kagero, going over the matchmaking. Got an enemy Shokaku. It's a tier 10 match, got a double Wooster, Henry. Henry can actually run me down, so that's can be a thing. Um, Looking at the DDs, we've got Shima, Kid, and Akazuki. Basically, all the DDs outgun me. We've got cruisers that can outrun me. We've got Woosters. Uh, Fun times. And I'm loading into this game and I'm loving it. Because this destroyer is goddamn strong. And there's so many people that don't know how to play this damn thing. And that's what I'm gonna do with this video. I'm gonna show you just how much you can push in this thing. I don't even have smoke. I don't care. So my plan is I'm just gonna push right up to A cap. Now the worst thing that could happen for me is the CV comes with both torpedo planes and cross drops me. If it happens, I'll eat most likely one torp. Um, but you know, it is what it is. At that point, you're just really helping my adrenaline rush because I'm not gonna let you spot me again. Got a guy in our Discord here. So what I'm doing initially, I'm thinking about pushing into this little cove um, to cap. If you look, I'm gonna stop it right here. If you look, the cap's right here. You can actually bow right into that, and you can cap this point behind this large rock, and people basically have to come back out here to try to lob shots over while you're radared or hydroed or something like that. Or in my case, because I don't have smoke, could just be plane spotting. I decide because I don't have smoke that I'm not gonna do that. It's just too easy for me to get spotted by planes or something, and if the torp bombers come, I'm bottled up right there. I'm an easy kill. So my initial torps, I'm looking just to throw some Make-A-Wish torpedoes out in this general vicinity, and those torps were either aimed at, most destroyers seem to enter the cap around that location. It was aimed at both the Henry or a destroyer coming through that area. So I go on ahead, I pop my torpedo reload when I spot the Wooster, thinking he might try to push up into the cap. He has opted to do this big turnaround thing, so I'm just sitting here. You know, no rush. You know, just gonna reverse right into the cap. Um, my destroyer is very strong this way, with the guns, most of my DPM pointed back, and you know, obviously I've got a concealment advantage on everything in this game. Any gunboat trying to push me, I'm able just to kite away, and if I decide to shoot them, you know, I'm able to keep most of my DPM on target. So I'm just seeing where RPF is at. You know, that gives me an idea what's going on. Right now, it's telling me that this DD is kind of giving up on ACAP because RPF switched back to the cruisers. And the staggered torps that I'm seeing, it got me thinking that there's an Akazuki somewhere around here besides this kid. I'm just thinking that with that's kind of a hallmark for torps that are separated by 5 to 10 seconds. That's usually one of the gunboat Japanese DDs. Enemy torp planes coming in. My CV's taking care of it. We've got AA going out all over the place. I've popped my AA to try to help. Um, but, you know, Japanese AA, it's mainly for additional HP protection, not actually shooting down planes. So, here's Henry Torpedoes. I know this kid's still gonna be around here, so I'm gonna start pushing up. And by pushing up, I'm gonna start trying to zone these guys further and further away from the cap. The Montana's falling back, the Henry's falling back, the Worcester's already dead. This kid is, I pick him up. He's not shooting, but, you know, I will. I mean, I'm not scared of picking that gunfight. Hindenburg looked like he got a pretty good shot off on the kid. And, I mean, this is Kagero right here. So they smoked up, and I'm instantly off. Just because my gun range is so short, there's hardly anything that can, you know, really keep you detected if you're doing this correctly. So right here, I don't really see any planes, and I'm gonna make a bold play right here. I see that the kid started shooting. This Akizuki smoked up right in front of me. I briefly spotted him, but my intent of doing this is not really to torp these destroyers. My intent was there's a smoke column here, and then a short smoke cloud here. What I wanted to do was push back in behind this to give my team vision behind this, because I've got this Henry that he's sitting far enough out that potentially he could use this smoke to try to blind fire my team. So I want to try to deny that to the enemy Henry, and it just so happens that both of these DDs just start gunboating right in front of me. So I'm watching. I know this is Yakizuki, just kind of expecting him to slowly make his way back forward in the smoke. I'm close enough to this kid that, you know, I just dropped pretty much where I thought he was, because he's going to have relatively little time to react. And just watching my torps go in, and I'm just getting a better and better flank on this. I know that this Akizuki, when he eats torps, he eats two. I know he's pretty well done. I know if he tries to get out of this smoke cloud now, I'm gonna spot him. So that's what I want. This Montana, for whatever reason, decides to eat torps that were already spotted by the Akizuki. Whatever, I'll take it. But I'm starting to stop. I know this this smoke's wearing off. And I could shoot here, but I'm just being patient. If I shot now, I'd be detected by the Montana, and it's just not worth it to me. Akizuki pops up, and I get some terrible RNG, and hit him 4 times, 4 pins, kill 3 AA guns. So he's actually able to get a shot off at me. But again, soon as I killed this guy, everybody's outside of my detection. I instantly drop off again. This is where you can use Kagero guns. This is why I say sometimes that if you really wanted to be sneaky, you pull the stock gunfire control system. Uh, you pull the upgraded one off the ship. You leave the stock one where you're looking at like, oh, I think it's like 8.6, 8.7 kilometer range, something like that. And it makes this even better. I mean, you can whack things up close that, get up close and spot you, but as soon as, you leave that gun range or somebody smokes up or something like that, you're almost guaranteed to drop off just because there's not that much that's going to be close enough to be able to spot you. And that's a really hidden strength about this destroyer. You completely lose this with Yagumo, which has, ironically, some of the longest gun range on the Japanese torp boats. Now, I usually do run the upgraded fire control module, um, just because I try to pick fights with U.S. and Pan Asian destroyers outside of 7 kilometers, and that little bit of extra range gives me more time to get a few licks in on them. Now this is kind of the boring part of the game. Obviously we've kind of stomping the enemy team, and I'm starting to push where I can be useful for my team. And right now, useful is keeping this Wooster spotted and moving up to cut off any sort of advance from this direction. Looks like the enemy's consolidating back in here. I expect them to try to cap C-cap and probably push in this direction. That's, in my head, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen at this point. I think the CV is either going to hold up here or just keep working his way in this direction until, you know, we either lose on they either lose on points or we kill him. So the Wooster goes down. I mean, it doesn't really look like it, but we're already up to 73,000 spotting damage at this point. That spotting damage is it's a side benefit to running torpedo reload. There's nothing really getting in your way of getting that spotting in. Now I'm gonna play some mind games with the enemy team. It looks like they're starting to hole up back there, and I'm gonna just kind of taunt them a little bit in chat. And honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If you've got guys that are gonna, they're not. If they're trying to camp this island, they're not even playing to win at that stage, and you're kind of fair game when you stop playing for the win. So now whether that makes this Yamato do what he's gonna do or not, I don't know. But he's gonna give me a crack at him, and I don't need that much of an opportunity to make something work. Now I've got torpedo reload, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna push up here. I'm just gonna drop torps like he's just coming in, deaf, dumb, and blind. And I'm waiting to see what he's gonna do. I see him start slowing down, And I figure he's going to try to reverse again, so I launch my torps as close as I can to the island, just basically to try to get something on him. And Yamato's starting to poke around the corner. I'm just taking a few shots, um, see if I can get a fire. But the issue I'm having is this Wooster's doubled back, and he's looking to ambush me around the island. I've got dive bombers incoming, so I'm just gonna duck in behind this island. And with everything that I have behind me, this guy really can't poke me. I land 4 torpedoes and kill the Yamato. And I'm just waiting right now, just being patient, see what this Wooster's doing. See what the carrier's doing. I mean, if he's gonna just sit behind that island, he's probably gonna be a pretty easy kill. If he, tried to kite out and run at this point, it would be harder. Um, so it's not ideal with the plane spotting, but this Wooster looks like he's starting to commit where he's not going to be able to really get involved up here on my push here. So I'm just going to try to sneak in and see what I can see. And I've got me a Shokaku under 3 kilometers. And gonna pause this when watch his indicator. He's starting to accelerate right now. That initial jump, that tells me that guy just pressed his W key and fired up his engines. So that's why I dropped 1 set of torps. Basically, he's not running the propulsion module. I don't know why you would ever do that on a CV. Um, so he's going to start out really slow. That's why I took such a short lead on beyond the gray indicator, just because he's going to struggle to get up to speed. Once he gets up to around 10-15 knots, he will start to catch up his speed pretty quickly. But initially he's really vulnerable. So that's how I aim this set of torps. The next set of torps, aimed it about a half an indicator ahead of it. It's mainly just insurance torps. Um, if whatever hits him wasn't enough to kill him, these would, and because he's going to be making more speed, a little bit of I just completely lost my train of thought. I've been up all night being sick. Sorry, guys. Um, but just insurance to make sure that guy's dead. Wooster's in my face. He's low health. I'm just gonna start shooting, and he goes down quickly. And at this point, this game's pretty much over. I'm gonna run as quick as I can towards this Mogami. But the game ends, and yeah, I think I'm sicker than I think. I'm still out of it. Sorry about that, guys. Um, looking at the score, 149k, 13 torpedo hits, 4 kills. Honestly, this is a really solid performance against this matchmaking. Um, this matchmaking should be very punishing for a destroyer that doesn't have smoke, doesn't have good AA, but I was able to dance around a lot of it, and put in the numbers for my team. I mean, still 73k spotting on top of this, so I'm breaking 200k combined damage easy. Um, didn't get shot at too much. Um, that's kind of Kagero thing. You typically don't get shot at a lot, but don't discount it. When I link when you take a look at the fitting report for this ship, um, it does have a really high horsepower to ton ratio, which means that it accelerates and decelerates quickly. Um, some of the best in its tier, and that's a common thing for the torpedo boats for the IJN line. And you can jockey your throttle a lot more aggressively uh, and be effective with it than for example, the U.S. destroyer line or the Pan Asian. Usually, the only ones that can kind of keep up with you with the horsepower to ton ratio is some of the fast Russian boats. But here's a DD. You know, very punishing matchmaking, and just little patience, map awareness, and you just flip it right on them, and you do the good things. I mean, this was a pretty solid carry on my part. Um, so Kagero, I mean Kagero, Yagumo, there's kind of peas of the same pod. I know there's a lot of guys that are struggling with them. Even to an extent, Shira is the same way with the low concealment for her tier. Um, you know, this is how you play them, guys. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry about losing my mind, my marbles. Um, I'm gonna finish this thing out and grab some tea and hit the sack. Hope you guys have a good night. I will talk to you guys later.